Does God really create evil? I have a verse here, Isaiah 45:7. So, chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. When I read this, I was shocked. And this is the King James version. And some people, it's called calamity in other versions and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of controversy around this verse. But for me, what I found interesting was Neville Goddard's interpretation of this verse, because it made the most sense to me, in the sense that we are the creators of our life. I am that I am, right? And so I form the light and create darkness, and I make peace and I create evil. I, the Lord, do these things. I am that I am. And so how do we create evil, right? You may think that you're a good person, or you try your best to be a good person, but a lot of the times we're unconscious to how we are affecting other people in our lives. And for me, growing up, I was creating a lot of evil within my own life. I felt like I was in hell. Okay, that was a confirmation that I was creating my own hell. So how was I creating hell in my life? A lot of it was through the unconsciousness of my societal conditioning, the way that we interact with people in schools, and the habits, the traits, the mindsets that we take on, right? And for me, I experienced a lot of bullying growing up, and I didn't have a strong sense of who I was. And so I allowed other people to kind of put labels on me and to make me feel bad about myself. I didn't have I thought being humble was putting yourself down, which is like so messed up, right? But that's not what being humble means. It's not putting yourself down. I didn't know how to love myself. So I was behaving in unconscious ways because I hated myself. And so my negative self-talk, the way that I treated myself, and being stuck in this like depression state, not being able to make friends, the way that I viewed making friends was like, oh, everyone's out to get me. The way that I viewed the world, everyone's out to get me. It was victim mentality. And so I was stuck in this loop of depression and this loop of like all these negative things like suicidal ideation. And I was stuck. I was stuck in those things because I couldn't think beyond that. My mindset was so stuck in that victim mentality. But through spirituality, through discovering the power of now and Joe Dispenza and Asking and Is Given by Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks, that allowed me to shift my mindset by realizing my thoughts are what I attract, and my emotions is my energy, it's my vibration, it's what I'm putting out, it's therefore what I'm attracting. I'm attracting negative experiences. If I'm in this negative state all the time, I'm attracting negative things to happen to me if I'm thinking of the worst case scenario all the time. So when I started to implement shifting my mindset to positivity in the life that I desire, and focusing on an unconditional loving vibration and living in joy and letting go of resentment for the past and the stories and the people that I've attached these stories, oh, they did this thing to me. For me, all of the things in my past, I've come to accept. And a lot of it there was a lot of bad things that happened to me, like not a lot, but like some things that were just like unfathomable. And the way that I've learned to make peace with it was that before I came here, I chose to experience this for my highest good, so that I could come into this level of consciousness that I am now, so that I could help other people, so that I could prevent future suffering for other people and future generations. So no one's ever really doing anything to you. That's how I like to think about it, because it takes me out of that victim mentality. But that moment for them was an unconscious moment that they had to learn from. It's a moment of unconsciousness, of trauma, of the pain body. And by what they did to you, they're going to experience their karma. They're going to learn from it too. And there are things that I've done that I'm not proud of because I was doing the best that I could with the consciousness that I had at the time. And that's the line for me. That is what I've kind of ingrained into myself, is that the things of my past, like I've atoned, like I've made amends with other people who I felt like I did wrong, and I apologize for my behavior and the state of mind that I was in, because I was literally doing the best that I could with the consciousness that I had at the time. And so I give that same grace to other people, and understanding that they were doing the best that they could with the consciousness that they had at the time. As Jesus says, 70 times 7, like, you forgive them as much as needed, right? Because they're unconscious. They don't know who they are at their core. And once someone is empowered to who they are at their core, and I believe that we're all unconditional, loving beings at our core, and that's what Jesus embodied, was like unconditional loving, forgiving, and knowing that if someone's doing this bad thing, it's out of unconsciousness, it's out of trauma. And the person who is experiencing that pain is going to be able to utilize that pain to share what they went through, to help future generations not have to suffer anymore. So if we do reincarnate, we're going to be coming back here, and we're going to be building a better world by serving others, and by sharing our experiences, and by empowering people to the power within them. And so Neville Goddard's interpretation of this line really empowered me. It made me feel like, wow, like I am the creator of my life. It's my perception of my life. Am I choosing to focus on the negative, or am I choosing to focus on the positive? Because I can tell you, at least from my experiences, when I choose to focus on the positive, because I realized that that's what I was attracting, right? In my past, I was like, I'm trying to be positive. Like, everyone kept saying be positive, but they didn't tell me that other part, which the other part is because that's what you're attracting. And that made so much sense. But it also was empowering, because it allowed me to see, by simply shifting the way that I think about things and focusing on the positive aspects of everything, I could then attract the life that I desire and start living that life. Because we're meant to be happy. We're meant to live a life of fun and joy and play. And I feel like with society and this, we got to go to school, you got to do this, you got to grade good, all these things that we got to do, whatever. It's just like we're ingrained to believe we got to do certain things, and if we don't do the certain things, then it's you're not following the rules, and you're gonna be a failure, and you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, all these things that are keeping us small, they're keeping us stuck. It's when you listen to your true authentic path, when you start leaning into your authentic self, start discovering your own beliefs and what you want for this life. That's when you realize your true divine purpose, is when you're connected to that higher version of you, your higher self, you're connected to that unconditional love, and you're embodying that in your life. Then you start to find your true purpose, and the path unfolds step by step in front of you. And you just got to keep taking those steps and doing it scared, because that's going to lead you to heaven on earth. And for me, I feel like embodying that unconditional loving state is living heaven on earth, because you're living a life of joy and fun and play, and you're positively impacting other people, and then you're finding your purpose. It's just like you're living a fulfilling, meaningful life. And so instead of like looking at this Bible verse as a negative thing, like I guess I used to think, growing up, I grew up Catholic, so I used to think like the man in the clouds was God, and it was some man out there in the clouds who was controlling everything. And I would be like, oh, so God is creating evil. Oh, like, so this God outside of me is creating evil. But when you realize that I am, you are the God, you are the creator of your reality, then you realize your true power. And I can say that I've truly experienced this with just shifting my mindset, shifting my thoughts, and truly embodying what Jesus' teachings are, like Christ consciousness and unconditional loving and forgiving. It changes your life when you start implementing that, and you start thinking more positively and start focusing on the positive aspects of your life. You realize that you are creating darkness or you are creating light. You are creating hell or you are creating heaven. And so I find this statement to be very empowering. Another person who has also helped me when it comes to studying the Bible is William Donahue on YouTube. I recommend you go check him out because he has like tons and tons of videos where he deep dives into the Bible and his like interpretations of it, and it is truly life-changing. It shifted my entire mind. It talks about like the chakras and the seven seals in Revelation. Like there's so many things that I could talk about because it's so fascinating. And so I really recommend you check him out if you're into this kind of stuff and these different interpretations of the Bible. I also really love Neville Goddard and his teachings, and he really helped me embodying that wish fulfilled, feeling into that frequency and utilizing your imagination to really tap into the life that you desire. Utilizing your imagination to pretending that you're laying with that person every night and you're cuddling them, or just to really tap into that type of energy. Using your imagination is what Neville Goddard really taught me through his teachings, and I am really grateful for all of the people that I am studying because they have truly changed my life. And I hope that by sharing what I've learned from them and how it has impacted my life, that I can maybe help you too. And so if you're familiar with Neville Goddard, William Donahue, Bill Donahue, or Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks, go ahead and comment what is the biggest thing that you've learned from them, or even Joe Dispenza or Eckhart Tolle or any spiritual teacher, Jesus. What is the number one thing that has stuck with you from these spiritual teachers? Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. All my love, Ash.